Welcome to Virtual Dine, Learn, and Move, brought to you in partnership with Prince George's County Health Department, Suburban Hospital, University of Maryland Capital Region Health, and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. Dine, Learn, and Move is designed to promote healthy lifestyle habits. Over the next 90 minutes, you will have fun, get up, and move. Learn everything about healthy eating and engage with our chef while watching a cooking demonstration. Let's get ready to dine, learn, and move.
Greetings and welcome to Dine, Learn, and Move, the virtual experience. My name is Trina Frazier from Prince George's County Health Department, and on behalf of the Dine, Learn, and Move Collaborative Partnership Team, which includes the Prince George's County Health Department, National Capital Parks and Planning Commission, Departments of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County, and our health system partners, Suburban Hospital and University of Maryland Capital Region Health. We thank you for joining us this evening. There's a lot of things you could be doing with your time this evening, and we're so glad that you chose to spend it with us. February is American Heart Month, and it's also celebrated as the month of love. And we want to show our hearts some love by learning ways to keep it healthy. We're going to review a few technology tips just before we begin. We ask that please make sure that you keep your phone or laptops on mute as you join and throughout the program. If you can't hear anything, please check your speaker settings and adjust that with your volume to make sure you're able to hear everything okay. We want to see you, of course, so please have your video on if you can. If you want to make the presenter larger on the screen, you would hover over the box where the presenter is, and you would click the blue shaded box at the top right of the presenter's screen. It has the 3 dots. Once you click that blue shaded box with the 3 dots, the pull down, you look for the word pin. And once you click on pin, that will make your presenter larger on the screen so you can see more clearly. If you have any questions or comments throughout the presentation, please enter them in the chat box. That's going to be our main way of communicating with you this evening, and we'll do our best to answer them. If for some reason you can't hear me or any of the presenters good, or something's going on with the screen or the presentations, please type that in the chat box also so we can try to address it throughout the program. Okay, so we're going to start out by using the chat box and ask you to type the zip code that you're joining us at tonight, your location, so we can give a little zip code shout out. Okay. 20747 46 20854 21701 20721. Okay. Great, wonderful. That's the great thing about the virtual program. We're able to expand our reach to all of you and have you join us from many different locations. So again, that's great. We're going to quickly do a quick poll. We always want to know if you are new to Dine, Learn, and Move. So we're going to do a quick poll, and if you could respond to the poll, whether or not this is your first time attending the Dine, Learn, and Move program. Okay. All right. Okay. First time. Okay, still polling. Okay. All right, so we'll stop the polling. Okay, so we have about 45% yes, 55% no. Okay, well, we'd like to say welcome to everyone that's new. this evening for Dine, Learn, and Move. We hope you enjoyed the program, and we'll say welcome back to all of you all who have joined us before. Glad that you're here this evening. Okay, we're going to quickly go over our program schedule, tonight's format. So the evening will be presented in 3 parts. Part 1 will be 20 minutes of health education. We have a guest speaker this evening, Dr. Sheila Woodhouse, who is a cardiologist at University of Maryland, Capital Region Health. Part 2 will be 20 minutes of physical activity. Fitness education from Parks and Rec. We'll have certified fitness instructor Wallace talking to us about flexibility, and then we will have a chair yoga activity presentation by certified fitness instructor Cassandra. And part 3, 40 minutes of a live cooking demonstration with Chef Roz, brought to you by our health system partners, Suburban Hospital and University of Maryland, Capital Region Health. Okay, so I am going to kick it off by introducing our guest speaker, Dr. Sheila Woodhouse. Dr. Sheila Woodhouse is a board-certified cardiologist specializing in cardiovascular disease prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, multimodality cardiovascular imaging, and clinical research. Dr. Woodhouse joined University of Maryland, Capital Region Health Medical Group as Medical Director for Cardiology, Ambulatory, and brings 20 years of experience as a partner in a large, progressive, comprehensive private practice group and academics at Emory Healthcare System in the Atlanta, Georgia metropolitan area, where she has achieved an outstanding record of optimal patient outcomes and satisfaction scores. Dr. Woodhouse is an alumni of Carnegie Mellon University and Temple University School of Medicine. Dr. Woodhouse treats the full range of cardiovascular conditions in areas of clinical focus include congestive heart failure, coronary artery and peripheral CTA, hypertension, high blood pressure, lipidology, peripheral vascular disease, preventative cardiovascular medicine, and risk assessment. So I'm glad to bring you Dr. Sheila Woodhouse.
Good evening, everyone. First, thank you very much for inviting me. I apologize, I don't have my red on. It's the end of my day. I'm still at the office, but I'm glad to be here. I was hoping to have on my red yoga suit so I could work out with you guys, but didn't quite make it home in time. So I'm pretty casual, especially at the end of my day. So please interject, ask questions. This won't be very long because I want you guys to engage. I enjoy conversation. I speak to people all day. So I think this is a great opportunity to engage. And so I commend you in this program first and foremost, because I spend so much time giving talks about the outcomes, poor outcomes, the statistics. It's actually very nice that we're talking about prevention and how we can live healthy, especially now during the time of COVID. So the lessons learned are for the present moment, but it's also for the future, to go over some of the relevance of the impact of this pandemic and what it means to our heart health and living healthy. Next slide, please. So we can ask, why is heart health so important now? You know, I actually, as a cardiologist, take pause to the February. For me, it's about it every day. Heart health is an everyday journey, and we should think about it that way. It's nice that we pause to, you know, kind of focus on it, but it should be what we learn today should move forward in the future. And you have to think about, if we've learned some lessons with this pandemic, it really has impacted the way we live. The isolation, the sedentary lifestyles, it has caused us to many people to have poor physical health, poor nutrition. Think about it, you're at home, you're more sedentary, you're working from home, you're grazing more, the blood sugar goes up, the blood pressure goes up, the cholesterol goes up. Often at that point, the weight begins to go up, we become more activity, and the cycle continues. All of these things are risk factors for heart disease, as well as the stress that embodies just this isolation and pandemic and things that are going on just in the society today. We begin to do things that are not so healthy for us, like smoking. The wonderful thing that I guess over the last 2-3 years in cardiology, we've begun to acknowledge stress and depression. Not just that, oh, someone's stressed or oh, someone's sad. and or really clinically depressed, but the impact that it has on our body. And we now consider it a direct risk factor for heart disease. The premise of a lot of this is that it's inflammation, and it's the stress that these things will do, the blood pressure, the diabetes, the stress and depression have on the vascular tree as well as the heart muscle. So it's nice that we now acknowledge that, especially for some of the younger population. There's also additional risk factors that are some that are specific to women, in particular, a new kind of niche space cardiology that's being formalized, although I've been doing it for some time, is cardiology in the pregnant woman and beyond, meaning that pregnant women who have gestational diabetes, who have hypertension associated with pregnancy and or eclampsia, not only are they at risk for cardiac problems at the present, but future problems in their 40s and 50s. And so it's something to be very conscious about. The other phenomenon we call them emerging risk factors for heart disease that often many cardiologists are not even aware, I won't want to say aware, but kind of implement as part of their prevention are some of the chronic inflammatory states that affect our communities, the lupus, the arthritis, the rheumatoid arthritis. And so we have to be mindful, and the common denominator is our immune system and inflammation. So next slide. So if you think about our immune system, inflammation, heart disease, and risk, and all of those things I just commented on, well, COVID seems to add an extra layer to that, because that's what that's all about. So when you think about the outcomes and you think about people who have COVID, the serious disease form and or unfortunately die, many of those patients, a large majority of them, have cardiovascular disease. Now, cardiovascular disease, that includes high blood pressure or hypertension. It includes stroke and or decreased blood flow and damage to the brain. So we sometimes think of heart disease in a large setting as it's merely a heart attack. It's not. Heart disease is so much more than that. It's the blood vessels, it's the muscle, it's the valve, it's the arteries to the heart, and actually why I enjoy what I do. So let's go to the next slide, if you don't mind. So again, we look at this interplay of my heart, the health, and how I live from day to day. We're now in the midst of this COVID pandemic, and then my immune system. And so we know that the immune system helps, it protects us. It protects us against COVID. So if our immune system is weak, our body's weak. And what can we do? And what do we support doing most of the time is eating right, staying active, and living a healthy lifestyle. That helps our immune system. And so that's why, for me, this program was kind of a unique, one of the more unique talks that I've done, because it really plays in our day-to-day and what's happening in the present moment, not just what's the past and all of these statistics. So we have to understand that all these, the impact of the pandemic, these negative nutritional, psychological, socioeconomic stressors, because people in jobs and the just things that are happening, it's in the behavioral effects of the isolation all cause our immune system to decrease. So not only do our risks of COVID and the seriousness of the infection impact us, but also our risk for present heart risk factors, as well as the onset of cardiovascular diagnosis, and then future risks, all compounded in the course of this year and probably the next year coming. Next slide. So you asked kind of why we're here today, and I commend again the Parks and Recreation being such an avid exercise person, although you can't see I have a boot on right now because I fractured a foot being so active. So, but notwithstanding, I'll be back out there, hopefully walking with you guys in this spring. But we know that regular exercise and activity, it improves our immune system. It makes the cells stronger. It allows us to fight infection. And again, all of the things that are happening in our communities and across the world are impacting that. So I want to remind you that the American Heart Association recommends that we have at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity. Everybody's like, 150 minutes? Are you kidding me? No, it's not as bad as it sounds, because it's cumulative. So if you can work out or do something active, because I believe something is better than nothing, for 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you get your steps in, you add it all up at the end of the day. For those who can do that 30 minutes of intense activity every 5 days a week, that's wonderful. Then we also suggest for some who can't do something every day to consider doing 75 minutes of a more vigorous activity. That could be running for those who can run, or biking or cycling aggressively, if not, Something, again, is better than nothing. And always add in those two sessions at least of muscle training. That's for all of my women as well. That means even if you're sitting in a chair and you have some light weights or you have some books, use that to increase your muscle tone, because again, it improves your immunity and it builds your strength. Next slide. So you ask yourself, what can we do, especially at this time? First, I want you guys to take control and begin to say, okay, I'm going to start today, because better today. And if you have to wake up every day and say, I'm going to start today, do that so that eventually you do begin. And you can do things at home if you can't get outside, if the weather's bad. You can dance around at home with music. There's so many right now Facebook activity groups or exercise groups that you can be part of. You can, it says cleaning, but it's activity, but I don't know if you want to do that every day, make that part of your routine. I'm not sure. For some, it's enjoyable. That's great. I invite you to my home. But for those who don't, just doing something is better than nothing. And again, I think getting yourself in a certain mindset, saying, I'm going to do this, number one. When am I going to do it? So make a routine into your day, whether it's the middle of the day, the end of the day, or the first thing that you get up. Everyone does something differently, and that's okay. And then find a designated space for you to do that activity. It could be a chair in your living room. It could be something in your bedroom. It could be outside. And then do something that you enjoy. If you don't like running, don't run. If you can't run, move your arms. So again, I think there's no one prescription. I don't take care of patients thinking one diagnosis or you should present a certain way. So you shouldn't feel that you should have to do things a certain way, because then it doesn't make it enjoyable. We always say sleep is important. It actually is critical. But what will help you to sleep better or rest better is exercise. It helps you to maintain that 7 hours of sleep each night. And in order to encourage you to do more, even if it's walking in circles or up and down your stairs, is to minimize that screen time and any type of sitting activities. Next slide. So I'm a little disappointed that I'm going to miss the demonstration, because I have another speaking engagement after this one. And but I am all about the food, good food, healthy food. Life is to be lived, so we should treat ourselves on occasion. But I think the mainstay of what we have to do is the healthy things. And the nice thing, the heart healthy diet correlates to our immune system, which then decreases inflammation. And so therefore, all of these risk factors and things that lead to poor heart outcomes are mitigated and are diminished because we're eating correctly. So we think about things that are high antioxidants, like some of the citrus fruits, the plant-based meals, the seeds, the berries. You think about all of the natural, because as much as I prescribe medication, I do believe that the plant-based things that come out of the ground are healthy for us. And those things are lower in salt. So our hypertension risks go down. Therefore, our heart disease risks go down. Our blood sugars are better controlled. And although we have diabetes, we may not have at that point manifested as a heart attack and or congestive heart failure. Our weight comes down. Again, it's that vicious wheel, because it's all connected. We've done studies over and over again, and we show that you get a slight reduction in your cardiovascular risk just by having 2.5 cups of some type of fruit and vegetable each day. You can actually reduce that by 28% if you have 5 cups, and premature mortality and or early death will be decreased by 31% just by eating correctly. Next slide. So some action points, that looks good. Maybe you guys will work on that, make that tonight. But consider a Mediterranean diet. All that means, and the word diet I don't like that word. To me, diet means how I am eating. It's not a plan that restricts what you eat in the sense that you feel you're not happy, because again, that's the stress and depression. But you think about things, Mediterranean diets are high in fruits, grains, nuts, beans, fiber. Fiber is directly related, and we've shown time and time again in the literature, it decreases our risk of cardiovascular disease. Minimize the saturated fats, use less salt. Think about vitamins. If they're not in your diet, supplements are fine. And if not everyone's going to be a vegetarian or vegan, but if you're eating meat, think about the leaner cuts of meat, okay, or how we're making these meats. Think about, instead of frying things to grill, and the air fryer is the big thing. Everyone loves the air fryer. So consider things like that. And if you are a seafood eater, consider the things that are non-shelled because they have less cholesterol. And so we start talking about then the saturated fats, increased cholesterol, the risks go up. I have some patients in the summer, cholesterol goes up because they're sitting at the table eating shelled, seafood. And it's actually very funny because I'm like, just cut it in half, just a little bit, and it comes down. So be mindful of that. Next slide. The nice thing about eating right, or well, maybe I should say, and staying active is it's going to drive you to be thirsty. So you want to stay hydrated. And we sometimes don't include that in part of our healthy living, but you have to think if our cells are dehydrated and they're small, they're not functioning the way they should. And the more hydrated you are, you release toxins, the cells in the body function properly. You actually allow transport of oxygen from one place to get into another. And that way, that's how the cells are fed. And that way they become more functional. If you don't want to sit and have 64 ounces of water, think about some of the fruits and vegetables that are more hydrating, the cucumbers, the cauliflower, the strawberries, the cantaloupe. Think about those things. And remember that more than half of our body is made up of water. So if we don't drink, we are shrinking our cells and how things function, and it's holding on and not allowing it to accomplish or be kind of the best you that you could be. Next slide. Now, anyone who has seen me in office or know me personally, I'm all about the mindfulness. And so that's why I said I was so excited to see when finally the American College of Cardiology added stress and depression. Although we functioned that way and understood that was relevant, it was not acknowledged and or validated. But that centering of mind, body, spirit is key. Mm-hmm. And if you can bring that down, everything else gets a little easier. Your blood pressure comes down. You can focus on how I'm going to eat healthier. You can think about, okay, I'm not so stressed. I'm focusing. I can take those extra steps if I have extra steps to do. And we know time and time again that positive energy from doing things that you guys are going to do after this, the yoga, the focus, the meditation, whatever meditation means to you, it brings on the positive energy. Positive energy begets positive effects in the cells in our body. It allows our immune system to function better, to decrease inflammation, which ultimately protects us from the risk factors that lead to heart disease. And most importantly, now it protects us if we do have heart disease to be able to combat if we should contract COVID, not to have that serious outcome or that poor outcome. So I think it's wonderful that yoga is your activity today because that encompasses all. Last slide. So I encourage and I empower you guys to all make a change today. And if you have to do it every day, like I said, every day is a new day, you start anew, but take control, maintain your weight. There's no magic number. We have these guidelines that body mass index should be this and it should be that. And one size, again, doesn't fit all. First and foremost, be the healthiest you that you can be. As long as you know you're doing all the right things, exercising, eating right, the weight will eventually come. But it's a slow and steady process. The things that will help that, more fruits and vegetables. The salt intake is key by decreasing processed and canned foods because our communities have such profound numbers as it relates to hypertension, which begets stroke, which begets heart disease, cardiomyopathy, abnormal rhythms. I could go on. So be conscious and very mindful of your salt intake. Increase your activity, even if you're at home, just stay active. And know your numbers, know what a normal blood pressure is, that 120/80. Know not just your total cholesterol, but what the good and bad cholesterol is for you. And I say for you because if you're diabetic, it's a certain number. If you have kidney disease, it's a certain number. Talk to your doctors, demand that they speak back to you, okay? Understand what your blood sugar should be and know your family history. We want to know our neighbors. We go to family. Just talk about your genes because you want to make sure you understand your own risk and then what the risk of your children may be or other family members. And just be mindful that stress and depression and mental health is important. So relax and recharge. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. But please ask me questions if you guys have time. I think the timing wasn't too bad.
Okay, do we have any questions for Dr. Woodhouse? That was a great presentation. So we have Dr. Woodhouse here, so ask your questions, either add them in the chat box so we can address them.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I sure can. Hi.
Okay, you are talking about
You're on mute now, Miss Woodward.
oh,
There you go.
okay. What about I've been hearing about the keto diet. What's about the keto?
So remember I said, I look at the word diet means to me, and the negative aspect of diet to me means something that you're doing now that is not necessarily a lifelong possibility, because healthy, it's about a lifestyle change. So that means I can do this now and I can do this forever. So keto diet, as you put it, is not a bad diet, but you have to ask yourself how you function within the keto diet. The extreme forms of keto diet, I would say, is very difficult to maintain for a very prolonged period of time. So I would say find the happy space where you can have less carbs. You can do some of the intermittent fasting, because you think about it, we in the cardiology community, we are very much in the pesco Mediterranean. That means fish-based Mediterranean with intermittent eating, meaning I don't eat after 9 o'clock. But we call that fancy intermittent fasting, but you shouldn't. We've all known that you shouldn't go to bed having a big meal and then go to sleep. So eating from 8 to 8 and then drinking some water, some things that will still hydrate you, I think is good. So the keto diet is not bad. Just extremes of anything is not good. Okay, does that help you?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Trina, there's some questions in the chat box.
Okay, someone going to read the questions from the chat box? Or?
Yes, thank you. Better time of day to exercise, AM or PM?
Anytime that you want to. You can meet me at 5 a.m. if you want, and that's great. But anytime that works for you. Again, you have to do what fits in your lifestyle that's going to allow you to do it. I'm very much of what works for you works for me. If you think walking in the middle of the day, if you're at work when people get back to work is good, then that's wonderful. So I think the way our society is now, there's no good time. Any time is a good time.
Great, thank you. And then what foods reduce cholesterol?
Yeah, okay, so it's probably some of the grains, some of the nuts and grains, and I'm chuckling because reduce cholesterol. So our first goal is to not have it increase. So you should get rid of the foods that you may be eating that could increase cholesterol. So that's fried foods, the salt, the butter, not the salt, I'm sorry, the butter, fried things, a lot of the things that are heavy in saturated fats. So I would look at first getting rid of the things that are high in cholesterol. Then you ask yourself, what can reduce it? Some of the healthier oils, okay? Some of the, again, leaner cuts of meat, some of the nuts and grains. Now, the interesting thing is typically, and I say that because typically I look at someone's food diary, I say, please cut these things out. And fortuitously, the cholesterol goes down. Now, there's some natural things that people will think about and they'll do. Someone had asked me, one of my patients, they asked me about red yeast rice because they don't want to take cholesterol medication. They're right at the border. They already eat extremely healthy. So we went through the diet. There's nothing they can really get rid of. Could you add in things? Well, everything you add in that helps cholesterol is already healthy. So the things we talked about, so you need to add them. You get rid of the bad, and then you do the other activities, the exercise, getting the weight down. That actually brings down the cholesterol. So I would think less about what foods I can eat, think about what I should not eat, and then what I should do in regard to exercise and just, again, your state of mind and being positive and being consistent.
Okay, great. And we have 2 more questions in the chat box if we have time. I want to do a time check with our moderator here.
That's fine, 2 more. Yep.
Okay. And excuse me if I don't pronounce these words right. What's the difference between Simvastatin and Atorvastatin? And
you got it. If you get close enough that I can figure it out, then you're good.
Okay.
So
and how long? Good. And how long should you wait to see a difference?
Good question. they're cholesterol medications, first of all.
Okay.
Statins is a class of cholesterol medications, which not only lower cholesterol, but data shows that it has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory effects that decrease our risk of heart and vascular disease and progression of that. So that's first and foremost for those who are listening. The atorvastatin and the simvastatin are just classes of statins. Atorvastatin often can be considered, depending the dose, on a high intensity statin. So it's a drug that for someone who has extremely high cholesterol, if we take 40 to 80 milligrams, then it's more apt to bring it down. For someone who has mild to moderate increase in cholesterol, the simvastatin and or Zocor, that's the other name, that's the brand name. I laugh because they make the generic name so much more difficult, but the brand name is Zocor. Atorvastatin is Lipitor. And so the simvastatin is good if you have mild to moderate, and it will bring it down. So both of the drugs are very good. And they not just lower the LDL, but there's secondary benefits to them. Now, I would like to share, since someone asked, and I'll quickly say, pay attention to side effects of drugs. Often people will have arthritis, and then all of a sudden they take a statin and the arthritis gets worse. Just be mindful that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it can be because the statin drugs can make us develop, can kind of worsen aches and pains. So have the conversation with your doctor. Doesn't mean you should stop it, just have a statin. Someone said rovastatin. Yes, that's a statin as well, but that's Crestor. And that's also considered a high intensity statin, depending on the dose of it.
Sorry, I was on mute. Okay, great. And then the last question then, since you addressed the other, is olive oil good for everyday use?
Oh, I'm an olive oil fan, so I'm going to say yes because I'm biased. But yes, it is. It's great for everyday use. If you have to go, the canola isn't bad. You know, my son likes canola because it gives him a little flavor. He thinks that's too bland with olive. But yes, olive oil is probably one of the better ones.
Okay, great. And those are our questions. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. And if there's any follow-up questions, you guys feel free to email me with them. I'll get back to your group and let you know, so that way you can share the answers with your group.
Thank you so much, Dr. Woodhouse.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. Listen, you guys take care and have fun with your yoga. I enjoy it. I'm so passionate about it. So enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, that was a great presentation, and we're going to try to stay on track. So next, we're going to discuss our fitness, education, flexibility with Wallace. You're on mute. You're on mute, Wallace.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. How's everybody doing today? We're rolling right along, and I appreciate having the opportunity to have the ability to talk to you. And I want to keep it short and sweet. So the window of opportunity and the time that I have, I want to make sure that I could use it to give you some great information. The first thing was we were talking about flexibility. What is flexibility? The nice part is everybody has a different degree of, I would say, flexibility. And generally speaking, flexibility is really how your muscles are. The greater mobility you have, the better off that you are. And the key point really for this talk is that if you're not mobile and your body is not flexible, you're asking for trouble. So flexible muscles is pretty much when you're having the ability to allow your joints to move in a proper sequence. Whether we realize it or not, our body, when we're moving, just think about it. While we walk, all these muscles have to basically intertwine in order for us to get to one place to another. And a perfect example is, God forbid, if you strain your back. When you strain your back, all of a sudden, it's like the rest of your body. Then you really, really get an opportunity to observe, like, oh my goodness. You start to realize the smaller your back, just moving one movement to the other side sends a tremendous amount of pain to other areas. And that's when we kind of realize that we need to be a little bit more flexible. One of the biggest things that I would say is, as we get older, we lose a small amount of flexibility. And as a result of that, it's really just because of the aging process. One some of the things that we can do to slow down that process is just like we were just talking about, was drinking plenty of water, right? So the more water you lose, the tissues and your spine creates more stiffness in your joints. So you're going to end up losing elasticity. And unfortunately, you're probably throughout your muscles and tendons and also surrounding issues, you're going to have other problems. So if you think about flexibility, flexibility is like the body's ruler. It can give you a very important information about your body. It'll measure your range of motion. It helps you identify different joints. That flexibility spans your entire body. So most people just think about the hamstrings, but again, it has to cover the entire body. When you're touching the floor or you're bending to grab something at the top of your cupboard, you're using totally different muscles. So every one of the muscles has a joint that's connected to the muscle that allows you to move. So even though you may not think that there's a muscle that's connected to your bones, every one of them have to have a connection some type of way. Some are more flexible than others, but every one of them have that. So the longer your muscles are, the less resistant you're going to have about getting strains or any kind of injuries. So flexibility is just huge and very important. So if we think about it, there's plenty of research that's available that tells you that if you increase your flexibility, it also decreases the risk of injury. So you think about it. If your body has a very limited range of motion, then let's say you went for a walk or you went for a jog or you lifted up something heavy. Most cases, unfortunately, you're definitely going to find that you're putting your body at risk of being injured. So what we want to do is that we want to try to figure out ways to be more flexible and have that range of motion to prevent incurring any injury, especially as we get older. So really the bottom line is that the more flexible you are, the less risk you're going to have regarding strains or any type of injury. So what I wanted to do is take a little bit of time and just kind of give you a little bit, I would say, some benefits that's available when you find yourself being more flexible. The one is most important. We just talked about it, was risk. You're lowering your back pain, right? When you have less flexibility, that lower back pain, you can pull that muscle very, very quickly. I hope you don't, and I'm sure if you have before, you know what I mean. So there's plenty of research that says that the more flexible that your lower back is, the less issues you're going to have regarding back issues. The other thing is going to be that if you think about it, it will also ward off, flexibility will also ward off other injuries. If you increase your flexibility, it allows your joints to move more smoothly. It's going to give you that right sequence of different functional movements, right? So proper muscle activation helps you control and mitigate the risk of injury. And the last thing we want to do as we get older, our body has a more difficult time of recovery. You want to also think about, you want to make sure that you can move more. So a lot of people, when we're doing any stretching, what we want to do in the beginning is do what's called static stretching. The static stretching means that you're moving the body around. When you're doing, and that's basically for your warm up, but when you're doing a cool down, that's when you can do the stretching and allow your body to stretch. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, right? So you want to really be conscious of when it's the same thing as you trying to stretch your body. If you got in your car right now and drove your car without giving the ability to warm up, there's going to be problems, right? So you want to get your body warmed up first, get the blood flow going first before you do any other activities. Last thing I'll say to keep this short, that don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of us are trying to do this on our own. And if you want to start with flexibility exercises, you can talk to someone a personal trainer or somebody that has some guidance in the area of showing you different types of stretching, right? So the goal is that you want to be more flexible, but you want to make sure that you check your form, because if you're doing a stretch and somebody's there that knows what they're doing, can really help you get those stretches in and give you a maximum opportunity for growth. So the biggest thing we want to do is that as we get older, we want to stretch, but more importantly, to prevent injury or any risk of being an injury in the long run, we want to make sure we're just flexible. So I hope that helped. It was nice and quick. Wanted to get you real quick, give you some nuggets. And it was a pleasure talking with everybody. And I'm excited about the rest of this evening.
Thank you so much, Wallace. That was a great segue into our physical activity, which is next. So we're just gonna move along. Okay, let's get ready to move. So we've learned a lot of information so far, but now we get ready to move. So move at your own pace, take breaks if needed, stay hydrated, and have fun.
In support of this partnership, the Department of Parks and Recreation is excited to bring physical activity to your home. According to the CDC, physical activity is one of the best things you can do to improve your health at any stage in life. For the next 20 minutes, you will get up and move through an instructor-led exercise routine. Come and join us, and let's improve our health together.
Hello, my name is Cassandra, and I'm a yoga instructor for the Prince George's County Department of Parks and Recreation. And today we're going to do a chair yoga session. Chair yoga is a safe and accessible way, a gentle way to practice yoga. You still get all the benefits of yoga, of increased flexibility, relaxation, stress relief, reduced anxiety, and strengthening as well. And so all you need is a sturdy chair. It's a sturdy chair that is comfortable for you. You want to scooch up just a little bit so that your feet are flat on the ground. I have a mat here just to protect my floors from the chair. If you have shorter legs, you can grab a couple yoga blocks. I always recommend for those who are practicing yoga to have some blocks available to them. If not, maybe a couple thick books. So you can just rest your feet on the blocks or on the books that you have available to you. I also like to practice with a yoga strap. I'm not sure if we'll actually need it today, but you can use a strap or a long belt or a towel. And whereas the blocks kind of bring the floor up to you, straps are extensions of your arms and legs. If you can't reach your foot, you can wrap a strap around your foot, for example. So let's get started, and we'll start it with a breathing meditation. And so what I want you to do is gently close your eyes. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just look down towards your nose. And in yoga, we breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And just taking a few breaths here normally, just normal breaths. And then we'll move into a deeper breath. It's a 3-part breath that I like to use to start off the practice. It helps you pay attention and focus on your breathing, and it also helps you to take deeper breaths. We often breathe very shallowly. So by breathing in 3 parts, we're first going to inhale deeply through the belly, feel the belly expand like a balloon. Exhale, release all the air, pull the belly button back towards the spine. Inhaling through the belly, and exhale. Inhale through the belly. Take the breath up to the lungs, feeling the ribs expand and the side bodies open. Exhale, lungs and belly. Inhale, belly. Lungs. Exhale, lungs and belly. Inhale, belly. Lungs Take the breath all the way up to the chest, feeling the chest expand. Exhale, chest, lungs, and belly. One more time, inhale, belly, lungs, and chest. Exhale, chest, lungs, and belly. And just do a couple more rounds at your own pace, inhaling fully through the belly, the lungs, and the chest, feeling the belly open, the side bodies open, the ribs and the chest on each inhale. And releasing all the air, reverse all those actions as you exhale. Inhaling those things that bring you joy, that bring you peace, that bring you strength, and exhaling those things that no longer serve you. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. And then allow your breathing to come back to normal, still inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Let's inhale our shoulders up towards our ears. Exhale, roll them down and back. Now let's inhale the shoulders back and up towards our ears. Exhale, roll down and forward. Inhaling up. Exhale, roll them down and back. Inhale them up. Exhale, roll them down and forward. But we do want our shoulders to roll down and back. And that's how you want your shoulders to rest throughout the practice. Try not to shrug your shoulders up to your ears, but always draw them down and back. Let's inhale, sweeping our arms forward and up. Maybe looking up towards our fingertips. On the exhale, bring the palms together and bring your palms down to your heart center. Tuck your chin into your chest. Let's do that again. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. Exhale, hands to heart center, chin to chest. And one more time. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. And releasing our hands down to the side. Some twists. So let's inhale, sweeping our arms up. We're going to turn to the right and bring our left hand just right on the outside of our right thigh. And we're just going to bring our right hand directly behind us wherever you can rest it. Maybe you rest it on the back of the chair. So inhale, stretch up through the torso, and exhale, twist, look over the right shoulder. And breathe here. Maybe you lengthen some more on an inhale and deepen the twist on an exhale. And release, coming back to center. Let's do that on the other side. Let's inhale, sweep our arms up. And exhale, twist in the opposite direction, resting that back hand wherever is comfortable to you. Breathing here. Maybe lengthen again through the inhale. Exhale, look over the back shoulder, deepening the twist. Releasing, coming back to center. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, let's just fold forward, bringing your hands down to your blocks or maybe to the mat, or maybe just rest your hands along the sides of your legs. And then bring your hands to your knees. So we're going to press our chest forward. Maybe we're going to look up here towards the ceiling. Exhale, let's fold. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Inhale, hands to your knees, press the chest forward. Exhale, fold. And one more time, hands to knees, press the chest forward, shoulders are down. Exhale, fold. And then slowly rolling up. Let's inhale our arms up again. Let's interlace our fingers, but release your index fingers and stretch those arms up tall, squeezing your ears with your arms. Take a couple breaths here. On the next inhalation, stretch up as tall as you can. And on the exhale, just fold over to the right. Try to stay fully seated on the chair as you do this. Inhale back up to center. Exhale, let's fold to the left. Feel that stretch on the right side of the body. Inhale, draw those fingers back to center. And exhale, let's give yourself a little gentle back bend here, drawing those fingertips towards the wall behind you. Maybe let your head fall back. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, let's just fold to release that back bend. Whenever you do something like a back bend or a forward bend, slowly rolling up, you want to kind of do a stretch that counters that action. So let's let our left fingertips fall down towards us, drop down towards the floor. Inhale the right arm up, stretching those fingertips high. Let's get a little deeper fold here, folding over. Maybe you look up under that top arm. Inhale, reach the right arm up, drop the right arm down. Let's inhale the left arm up this time. Reach those fingertips up towards the sky. And exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, drop that hand down. We're going to do a few rounds of cow and cat pose. Seated cow and cat, I need to move up a little bit so my feet are firmly planted on the mat so you can see. Bringing your hands, just resting them gently on your knees. Inhale, draw your chest forward, let your head fall back. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale again for cow pose. We're going to draw our chest forward, let our head fall back. As we exhale for cat, draw your chin to your chest, rounding your back. A couple more times. Inhale into our seated cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And coming back to neutral position. We're going to do a stretch of our shoulders. So you're going to reach both arms forward. You're going to cross one over the top, one over the other, doesn't matter which one. And then you're going to lift both forearms up so the backs of your hands are facing each other. And you're going to try to turn your hands so that your palms are facing each other. And you're going to draw your shoulders down, push your elbows forward and up for eagle arms. So you can see it from the side. If this isn't working for you, just cross one arm over the other, give yourself a nice big hug. And take a couple breaths here, in whichever expression works best for you. And release and shake it out. Do the same thing on the other side. So sweeping your arms forward, crossing the opposite arm on top, whichever one you didn't do. Lifting those forearms, turning the palms towards each other, just giving yourself a nice big hug. Drawing those shoulders down, pushing elbows forward, and breathe here. And release and shake it out. Let's get those legs involved here. So you're going to put all your weight into your right knee and bring your fingers around your left knee and just hug that knee into your chest, flexing the foot. Breathing here. Maybe you place your hands behind the left thigh, straighten that leg forward. A little stretch in the back of the leg. Breathing here. And then maybe you take that left ankle and just cross it slowly over the right knee. Now this may be uncomfortable for you, so you can extend the right leg out and bring the left foot on the inside of the right shin, just to get a little hip opening here. But if you're able to bring your left ankle on top of your right thigh or your right knee, and maybe we'll turn towards that knee and just give a little twist here. And breathe and coming back forward. Maybe we fold, a little fold here. And wherever you are, you can do it with your leg up here or with your leg down a little bit lower. So another breath here. And then release. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side, drawing the right knee into your chest, flexing the right foot. And then maybe you bring your hands behind your right thigh and then stretch that leg forward. A little stretch. And then maybe you cross the right ankle over the left knee. So this is my tighter side, so my knee is up a little bit higher, but I'm still able to bring my foot up. I have to hold on to it more securely. But again, your option is to have the foot down here just so you can feel this opening in the inside of your hip, whatever works for you. And then maybe you twist towards that knee. A little twist here. And then coming back to center, maybe you fold forward. I can't fold as deeply on the side, and that is okay. And then release and bring that foot back to the mat. Let's extend both legs out in front of us. Scooch up a little bit more on my chair. And inhale, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Reach for your shins or your ankles, or maybe you can reach for your toes. Just coming into a forward fold here. And then slowly rolling up. Inhaling, shoulders up to ears. Exhale, roll them down and back. So I'm going to stand up. Hopefully the camera still catches me. Just going to stand up for a second. And we're going to do one balancing pose before we close out. I'm going to turn my chair to the side, make it easier for you to see. So my chair is on my left side. I'm going to put all my weight into my left foot. I'm going to rest my left hand right here on the back of the chair. I'm going to come up onto my right toes, turn my right heel into my left leg. And you can stay right here if this feels like it's challenging your balance. Or slide that foot right up on the inside of the shin. So just try to avoid your knee. And you can either hold onto the chair, maybe bring your hands together, heart center. For tree pose, take a couple breaths here. Maybe you reach your arms up and out. Depends on your balance. You can always keep a hand resting on the chair. And just take a few breaths here. Always breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And then slowly drop the foot down to the mat. I'm going to switch my chair sides so you can see. Put all my weight into my opposite foot. Again, you can rest your right hand this time on the chair. Coming on those left toes, turning the left heel in, maybe sliding the foot up, maybe bringing your hands together, heart center. Or you grow your tree, reach your arms up and out. And breathe here. Ooh, I'm a little wobbly on the side. Rest my hand here. And then slowly release the foot to the mat and shake it out. Bring the chair back. And to close out, let's inhale, reaching our arms up, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands together, heart center. And one more time like that. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. And release. Thank you for joining me for this quick chair flow. I hope you feel more relaxed. I hope you feel more open. There are many more things you can do with the chair. So maybe in a subsequent class, I'll show you some more advanced things to do with the chair. But this kind of flow is perfect just to get your body moving, release some tension throughout your body, just open up some spots that might be tight and tense. So thank you for joining me. Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us for the exercise portion of virtual Dine, Learn, and Move. Feel free to include this workout in your daily routine. For more videos like this for all ages, visit the Department of Parks and Recreation's online resource center at pgparks.com. Until next time, be healthy, be well.
Wow, that was great. How does everyone feel? Whew, I know I feel more flexible and relaxed, so that's wonderful. Okay, well, without further ado, we're going to give our drum roll and bring on Chef Roz. You're on, Chef Roz?
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Can you all hear me pretty well?
Yes, I can.
Awesome,
Yes.
awesome,
Mhm.
awesome,
Yes.
wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you all are stretching and having a good time. And I'm not going to be before you long, but I am going to bring some exciting recipes because it
Okay.
is Heart Healthy Month. That's why I have on my red. You see my red for Heart Healthy Month? My hair is dyed red. Well, okay, listen, we are going to have a good time. First, I just want to remind you that in the, especially in this COVID-19, we got to continue to wash our hands really well. When you're going shopping for your healthy produce and your healthy foods, we're going to make sure you bring them home, wash them really well, and get all the dirt and everything off of your produce, right? Wash all the way up to your elbows and then get started in your kitchen. All right, you all ready to get started? Listen, today I have an exciting recipe, actually two. So in the whole light of heart health and Healthy Heart Month, February, I'm going to bring you a recipe about beans because beans actually is a heart healthy food, great for your heart, right? So, but first, how many of you all like beans and rice? Beans and rice go together. Beans and rice go together. So first, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to do first a brown rice. And so you might say, why brown rice? Why brown rice? Mostly, I know how to make rice. Some people don't. And so we're just going to just basically give you a simple recipe for brown rice. And I think you all have the recipes already. I'm not sure. But what I want to do, I have my rice cooker, a rice cooker for sure, easy way to make your brown rice. So I'm going to make this brown rice. I'm going to let it cook while I do the chili recipe. All right. So I'm going to use some water. And so the rule of thumb for brown rice, I'm going to get it on here first, and then I'll talk about the brown rice and what its nutritional values are. But the rule of thumb is you use 2 cups of water to 1 cup of whole grain, right? 2 cups of water to 1 cup of whole grain. But in this recipe, I'm going to use I'm supposed to be using a half a cup of water. So let me just do this over. Hold on. I just forgot about something. I forgot that I'm actually using, in this recipe, I'm using coconut milk. Coconut milk. So let me pour this out because I need to do it correctly. All right. I'm using my coconut milk. And this is 1 can of coconut milk. It's going to make the rice taste amazing. I'm telling you. Amazing. Coconut milk. And then I'm going to add a half a cup of water because the coconut milk is actually the liquid that we're using, right? So, got it. There we go. So I have my coconut milk in here. Now, who likes just plain bland rice? Not many people, right? So what I'm going to do is add about a teaspoon of garlic powder in my water. That's how you flavor your rice. A teaspoon of garlic powder in my water. Okay? Garlic, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Garlic is awesome. Then I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. Everybody knows about Italian seasoning. It's a mixed blend. This is 1 teaspoon of a blend of Italian herbs. That's basil, oregano, It's got a little rosemary in there. I added to it. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of brown rice. Now, this is actually basmati brown rice. So I'm going to put it in here with this. I'm just going to actually stir it up a little bit. Now, you can do this on the stove as well. But I tell you, if you have a rice cooker, it gives you perfect rice every time. Every time. All right, so let me plug this in. And then this is going to be cooking while I do my other, how about if I can see it? Hold on. There we go. And just press it on, put the top back on it. And this is going to cook while I prepare the chili. Okay, so now, first let's talk about the rice. I'll give you a little bit of information about the rice. Now, why not white rice? Why not white rice? Because it's processed. It is stripped from all its nutritional value. And we want to get all the minerals and the vitamins from our rice, from our whole grain, our whole food, correct? All right, so brown rice, it has more B vitamins in it than any other whole grain. Brown rice does. So now there's basmati, there's jasmine, brown rice. Now, it also can give you sustained energy because it is a complex carb. And a complex carb means that it is not stripped from its nutrients. So it's coming from the plant. And it will sustain you once you eat it. It will sustain you throughout the day for hours. So that is a complex carb. And that's what we want to eat more of. Tell you though about the brown rice. Brown rice actually has what is called phytic acid. So phytic acid actually can strip some of the nutrients from your rice, your whole grain, which is in this case your brown rice. So it can strip your iron and your magnesium and your calcium and your copper and your zinc. Phytic acid can. So what you need to do is rinse really well. You can actually sit it in a bowl overnight or for a couple of hours and rinse it really well in a cool bowl of water. Then drain it and then cook it. That will help to decrease or take away the phytic acid. All right. So that's something that you might not have known. Next thing is characteristics. Some characteristics of brown rice. Like I told you, it will generate energy, give you sustained energy throughout the day. It also promotes good digestion. Yes, helps to get things moving. It also can alleviate diarrhea, and it can help mental depression. Brown rice, right? All right, so you want to flavor it really well while it's cooking so that it can taste really nice. You eat it as a side dish. If you notice, I did not add any sodium, any salt to it because we're talking about heart health and healthy eating, right? So we're going to make it taste good with the herbs and the spices. Okay. All right. So that's the brown rice is cooking. And I use the coconut milk. It's going to give it a nice flavor. And you can, speaking of coconut milk, you can use a light coconut milk, which the fat is a little bit less than the regular coconut milk. So you want to customize accordingly to what you need for your body. All right. Awesome. All right. So now I'm going to transition to beans. So I have vegetarian chili with black beans. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut up. Now, this recipe, let's go to the recipe. I don't know if you all have the recipe in front of you, but what I'm using is 3 cans of black beans. Now, what you want to do is when you drain your beans, you save some of the juice from your beans, about a half a cup. All right. And then you're going to um, have your beans here. Now, I'm using a canned beans. Now, I like to use organic canned beans. But what I do is I rinse them really, really well because they've been sitting in the can in preservatives, right? And so you want to rinse them really, really well. Other than that, you can actually use, if you want to, you can actually buy the bag of black beans and you let them soak. And I'm going to talk about soaking your beans in a second. So we're going to use black beans. We're going to use 1/4 cup of olive oil, 2 cups of chopped onions. We're going to use garlic, 6 cloves of garlic, and I can't wait to talk about that garlic. Chili powder. You can't have vegetarian chili without chili powder, right? You just can't have it. And then dried oregano, cumin, cayenne pepper, some tomato sauce, a little pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt just to taste. Only if you want to. You don't have to. You can eliminate the salt if you like. But I love ground pepper, black ground pepper. So let's get started. First, I'm going to cut up some more. Now I've already actually chopped red bell pepper. Red bell pepper is very, very good for you. And it's sweet. Sweet. If you ever tasted bell pepper by itself, it's really, really sweet. Now my recipe says for two medium-sized bell peppers. Now keep in mind this is for a larger serving, right? And because we're home and I'm actually preparing this for myself and my husband, I'm not going to use the whole second one, the second whole pepper. But if you're making it at home for a lot of people, for a big family, you want to go ahead and use your both of them. 2 red bell peppers. I love the taste of bell peppers. I use them for snacking. Very, very good. Dipping with hummus, which is another bean, which is garbanzo bean, hummus, right? All right, here we go. So I'm just chopping up a little bit more of the red bell pepper. And nice and chunky, because you want it to be kind of chunky. Chili, vegetarian chili. All right, so that's my red bell pepper. Oh, I love the smell of the red bell pepper. Oh my goodness, I love it. Very, very good. Very nice. Yes. All right. Now, how about for the onion? Onion. I have a sweet onion. Now you can use a red onion if you like. You can use a medallion onion. There's all different types of onion, but I'm choosing to use a sweet onion. Sweet onion. And onions are very, very good for you, for the immune system. The doctor talked to you all about immune health earlier. And so, yes, very, very good. Onions are anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antibacterial. Onions, very good for you. So you want to use a lot of onions, especially in its raw state. Onions are very good. It will actually take out a lot of soreness and pain if you have inflammation in one of your joints. If you just put it right on it, lay the onion right on that area, and it will actually draw out any inflammation. Very, very good. And you don't have to you all remember, I don't know if you know about that old saying, you can put an onion in your sock, onion in your sock or on your chest. Most of the older people know about that. So we're going to use 2 cups of onion. So that'll be my second one, my other half. So one nice size onion will give you about 2 cups. Very, very good for you. So let's talk about beans while I'm cutting up this onion. Let's talk about beans. Ah, so I was talking about the beans in a can versus beans in a bag. Now, if you purchase beans that are in a bag, you want to make sure you don't buy the bags and have them in your cabinet for over 2 years. Why is that? Because beans, it's harder to cook. They don't get done well enough for your digestibility. All right. So you need to actually make sure you check the expiration date on your beans if they're dry beans in a bag. All right. Now, also, you need to check your beans for any rocks or grain or dirt because it can be a little dirty, have some dirt or grains or rocks mixed in them, even if they're in the bag. So you want to make sure you wash them really, really well and you check them for any rocks. But then also you want to soak your beans. You want to soak your bag of beans. And the rule of thumb is this: the larger your beans are, the longer you have to soak them. The larger they are, the longer you have to actually soak your beans. And why do you all think you're soaking your beans? Why do you think you're soaking your beans? You are soaking your beans because you want to be able to digest them. It's better digestibility when you're soaking your beans. I'm going to go ahead and use this. This is my food. I can put it right here. That's 2 cups. Yes, 2 cups.
Less time to cook, right?
Less time to cook. Well, yeah, less time to cook. But also, more importantly, you want to be able to make sure you're not having a lot of gas and a lot of pain. And a lot of times that's because your beans are not cooking long enough. So you soak them to pull out the gas out of the beans. Have you noticed that before that you have when you soak your beans and say you soak them overnight? You soak them overnight. In the morning, in that bowl are bubbles. These are gas bubbles. So it's expelling gas from your beans. So you actually want to drain that water out, rinse them again, and then you cook them in another fresh pot of water, right? But that can help you eliminate gas, those gas pains from beans. And really, most of the time, people say they don't care for beans because it makes them have gas or it makes them have really, really bad stomach pain. And we don't want that, right? We want to enjoy our food. We want to enjoy especially if it tastes good, right? And especially if you spend good money for it. How about that? Yeah, but for sure, you want to make sure that you cook them long enough. And when I say cook them long enough, your beans you should be able to tell that they're done when you squeeze them and they're soft in the middle. If they're kind of hard or a little stiff, then you need to cook them a little bit longer. That's only if you're having issues, if you're a person that has issues with digesting beans. Now, this is the thing though. If you don't have problems with digesting your beans, then you can eat plentiful because you're getting what from your beans? What are you getting from your beans? What nutritional value? Anybody know?
Protein.
Protein.
And doesn't it help with iron too?
Iron for sure, and fiber.
And fiber,
Protein, iron, and fiber for sure. Yes. So I put in my olive oil in the pan. I'm going to add my bell pepper. Here we go.
Ross, someone asked, what about using yellow rice?
Yellow rice is not a whole grain. Hmm. Right? It's a grain, but it's not a whole grain. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen rice come up yellow. So what is that? Mixed with something? Processed, maybe? Hmm.
I was thinking dye.
Oh, you're not gonna say die. Yeah, maybe. Yes, we're gonna put the bell pepper. Now we're gonna add the garlic. Garlic, heart healthy. I have 6 cloves of garlic in here. 6 cloves. I just love the garlic, but garlic is great for hypertension. It's great for heart health. Yes, fresh garlic in here with the peppers. All right. The next thing I'm adding here, well, let's saute these for a little bit. Let's let it go for a minute.
Okay, while you're sauteing those, I have a question.
Sure.
Do you put baking soda in your beans when you soak them to help remove gas?
Oh, that is a very good question. Very good question. Baking soda is amazing. Yes, baking soda. Now, there's a couple of things that you can put in there. One second. There's a couple of things that you can add. You can add baking soda for sure. You can add bay leaf. It will help. Also, cumin. Cumin helps with gas. Cumin. So that's why I'm using cumin here. And some people use seaweed. Some people use seaweed also. So that's an excellent question. I love it. Thank you.
Great, thanks. I didn't know that.
Yeah, good stuff, right? And then let's put our onion in here too. Look at that. All heart health foods. Look at that. And so I say this every time. It smells amazing already. Already. And I haven't even put the beans in here yet or the seasoning. But it's just something about that onion and garlic, peppers. Are you all looking in the food camera so you can see it? Yes. It's one thing about being a chef, you know. You might not be able to cook, but you know how to stir. Yes. Know how to stir. We just know it's all getting in there very, very nicely. All right. Yeah, so that is an excellent question about beans. Let me tell you, oh, you know what I wanted to say? The talking about the your beans, talking about how long you soak them. Since we were talking about soak them and cooking them, your small beans. So what would be a small bean? Your smaller beans, you only have to, you don't even have to soak them overnight. You don't have to soak some of them at all. But it's one small bean,
Navy bean. Oh
navy
no,
beans,
I'm sorry, lentils.
lentil.
Lentil.
Small, right? You don't even have to soak lentils. You don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
soak them at
real
all.
small.
You can go ahead and cook your lentils. Now,
Right.
there's some larger beans, like what you said at first, your navy beans, your lima beans, things like that. You cook them a little bit longer, at least about, I'm sorry, you soak them a little longer, at least an hour, at least an hour. But like garbanzo beans, chickpeas, you need to soak them for um, at least an hour as well. So those are beans, the pretty much how you can gauge how you need to. The larger, the longer. The smaller, you might not have to do it at all. But then, as far as cooking them, the larger beans, I'm talking about your fresh beans in a pot, in a bag. You're going to cook those at least 60 minutes to an hour and a half. A lot of people use a slow cooker, which I love. I love the idea of a slow cooker. All right. Oh, yes. This garlic right here is smelling some kind of good. All right. So next, we get back to my recipe here. I'm adding the chili powder. I'm adding my chili powder. And my chili powder is 2 tablespoons of chili powder. This is making it just amazing. My favorite word is amazing, guys. Amazing. Amazing. Chili
So
powder.
Chef Ross, your question came in: if an hour is enough for soaking the beans, why is overnight soaking suggested?
No, overnight is great. Overnight is perfect. Because yes, overnight is perfect. But if say you forgot, say you forgot to put your beans in water and soak them overnight, and you got to have a dinner prepared. You have to at least soak them for an hour.
Okay.
At least.
Okay. And then someone else asked, can you cook the beans in a pressure cooker as well?
Yes, I've heard of it for sure. Pressure cooker. What is it? It's a new thing called an Instapot.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it. I've never done it in an Instapot before. I'm going to add my beans.
But you wouldn't have to cook it that long in a pressure
Instapot
because the pressure cooker cooks real fast.
Ah, see, I've never cooked beans in a pressure cooker. Honestly, I've never cooked it in a Instapot either. Oh, yes, I'm excited about this.
Pressure cooker is less time.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and that's what we're in this microwave world right now. So everybody wants to eat fast. Like, want the dinner be done quickly. Can y'all see that? It smells so good. And I haven't even finished adding the other seasonings in here yet. See how chunky that's looking? Nice, nice. All right, now I'm going to add my tomato sauce. Now you can add, if you like, you can add can of diced tomatoes if you like.
The food is ready.
Get this class. Come on, let's eat.
The food is ready.
What food is ready?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, are you over here? She didn't know she wasn't on mute. I love it. Yes, look at that. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I was saying that you can actually add a can of tomatoes if you like, if you don't want to add tomato sauce, or you can add a little bit of both. Now, how about the cumin? Remember I talked about the cumin? We're going to add 1.5 ground cumin, 1.5 teaspoons, not tablespoons. Don't get confused. Teaspoons, not tablespoons.
How much tomato sauce was it? Someone asked.
The tomato sauce is 1 can of tomato sauce. And then I'm going to add, all right, so I said, let me go back. 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Let me put the oregano in here because I love oregano. That's my herbs. Y'all know they call me the Spice Queen because I'm a herbalist. And so these herbs I just love. Yes, that's the oregano. So I have the oregano, 2 teaspoons, 1.5 teaspoon of ground cumin, then 1/2 teaspoon of ground cayenne pepper. A half cayenne pepper. That's going to give it a little punch. Just a little bit, right? If you don't like spicy, don't worry about it. But cayenne pepper actually helps you it helps your blood pressure. It smells so good. Oh my goodness. Cayenne pepper is very good for circulation. Awesome. Yes. What's my time looking like? Time looking good?
So it's actually 7:29.
Oh. All right.
So we're
all right.
Getting near the end there.
What'd you say?
I said we're getting near the end there.
Okay.
Near the
all
end
right.
of time.
Almost. All right. So now I'm going to put a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt and black pepper. And I mixed it together, you guys. I'm just going to put a little bit in here. Now, like I said, if you're watching your blood pressure, you can skip the sea salt. But I would definitely, I add the cayenne as well as the black pepper, the cayenne and the black pepper together. This is so good. All right. Now, that's the pepper. See, that's what the pepper will do for you. Make you sneeze for sure. Now, what you're going to do is let it simmer. You're going to let it simmer for at least 15 minutes or less, just to get all the herbs and spices, everything kind of blended together really, really nicely so it can taste well. All right. But now, because of time, guess what? I'm going to put it all together for you because I have rice that I did already, brown rice already. And you have to let me get the rest of my recipe here because I have something I want to do here really quickly. I have some spring onion. Let me cut it up really, really. Spring onion, green onion, spring onion, right? I'm going to cut it really nicely because I'm going to show you. I love spring onion. It's a great garnish. It's great in the food. And you can cut it all the way down to the green part, which is my favorite part. The green part at the end. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna put it to the side here. Now, here's my bowl. And I'm going to put some rice in my bowl. Rice. It's my brown rice. And my chili. Chili on top. Look at that. Ah, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Then what am I going to do with those onions? How about I actually have a vegan sour cream because I don't do a lot of dairy and because I have to eat it. I did a vegan sour cream, but you can actually do a light sour cream. Put it right there on top. And then garnish, sprinkle with your green onion. And I love a lot of green onion. And there we have it. Let me hold it over here. Can you all see that in the food camera? Say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. See it well?
It looks good.
Looks good. It smells amazing.
Making me hungry.
Amazing. And I'm not going to
You're getting some thumbs up and some hand clapping.
Man, I need to take a picture of that. I do need to take a picture before I eat it. What'd you say?
I said you're getting some thumbs up and some hand clapping and thanks. This was great.
Beautiful, right?
Where can people get vegan sour cream?
Vegan sour cream? You can get it from Wegmans. You can get it from Mom's Market. I got this from Mom's Market, actually. That's my go-to place to shop. Mom's Market. You can get it from Wegmans. You can get it from Giant. Giant has it as well.
Great.
Do you have the container?
No, I can't show the container. But you can reach me later and I'll tell you what it is, the name of it is, the brand.
Great.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do you have any more questions? Have any questions? Oh, I gotta take a picture.
Those were all the questions. That last one was about the vegan sour cream, but any more questions from the group? All right.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm Rosalind, Heavenly Bodies Live, and I'll see you all next month. Yes. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Ooh, thank you so much, Chef Rosalind. That was great. This was a great packed session. We want to remind you before we close out, next steps, do not forget the Dine, Learn and Move program evaluation that will be sent to you. Next slide. In an email that will, it'll be the Dine, Learn, next slide. It'll be the Dine, Learn and Move evaluation. Also be in the email with nutritional information and resources from the talk this evening. Okay. And very quickly, last time we talked about incentives for the survey. And last month, we did a drawing from participants that filled out the Dine, Learn, and Move evaluation. And we'd like to announce our winner. So the winner is, drum roll, Ava Jones. Woo!
I was just sitting here saying, okay, it needs to pop up and say Ava Jones.
Oh my gosh, Ava Jones. So Ava Jones is our winner for drawing the prize for filling out the evaluation. So we need to hear your feedback. So we want to remind you all to complete the evaluation. It's a good start, but we still have a long ways to go to get 100% evaluations from you all. So we encourage you to do that, and we will draw kind of our prizes or winner as an incentive to do so. So Ava will be following up with you on your gift. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Woo! And as always, we thank you again for joining us. We're going to close out our program. We thank you for joining us tonight. Spread the word. And we hope that you will join us again next month.
So did you say the recipes will be in the next email because the link didn't work in the one you sent?
Right, everything will be in the closing email, well, a follow-up email. It'll be the evaluation, the recipes, nutritional information, supporting resources.
Okay, thank you.
That email.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're
all right, great session. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Enjoyed it.